Well, Lauren Thom now joins us with this week's Ag Minute. And Lauren, apparently September is not only National Rice Month, it is National Bourbon Month.
That's right, and the history of bourbon is a little hazy, and that's probably due to the subject at hand. Well, bourbon is the only native spirit to America and comes with a very rich history that owes its discovery to an accidental fire at a whiskey distillery.
The history of bourbon goes back to a man named Elijah Craig, who was a whiskey maker who lived in Bourbon County, Kentucky. He had a fire in his distillery, and once the fire was out, being the frugal man that he was, he decided to still use those charred barrels. So he sent his first batch of clear whiskey in the burned barrels down the Ohio River on a flatbed to New Orleans. When the barrels finally arrived, the whiskey wasn't clear. Instead, it was a caramel color. The people in New Orleans loved it, and it became known as Bourbon County whiskey. Soon the whiskey became hugely popular, and in 1840 its name was shortened to just bourbon. It wasn't long before the bourbon industry would be faced with many obstacles. The Civil War caused a shortage of all whiskey. Not only were men being drawn from their day jobs to fight in the war, but many battles were fought in major American whiskey distilling regions. Then, during Prohibition, the entire adult beverage industry was shattered, and hundreds of businesses were shut down. The majority of bourbon distilleries were closed, and many were never to reopen. But a few, like the Samuels and Beam families, came back after the repeal of Prohibition and resurrected the craft of bourbon distilling. Soon after, Congress declared bourbon America's native spirit, and the rest is history.
In 1964, Congress passed a resolution that protected the term bourbon and the way it's produced. Bourbon must have a content of at least 51% corn and has to be aged for at least 2 years and distilled under 160 proof in charred oak barrels.